Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about bones of skull. And here at the side you can see the colorful diagrammatic representation of skull for the reference. So let's start our topic with introduction. Human skull is a complex bony structure that serves multiple vital functions. It protects the brain, forms the framework of face, and provides cavities for sense organs. Skull consists of 22 bones, most of which are joined by immovable joints called sutures. These bones are divided into two major categories. First is cranial bones that enclose and protect the brain. Second is facial bone that shape the face and form the structure around the eye, nose, and mouth. First, we will talk about cranial bone, then we will talk about facial bones. So, cranial bones form the top, sides, and back of skull, encasing the brain. It includes frontal bone, as you can see in diagram. The blue color bone on the front is frontal bone. Then it has parietal bone that's just behind the frontal bone, and here you can see the green color bone behind the frontal bone is parietal bone. They are paired bone, that means there will be two parietal bone in every skull. Third we have is temporal bone. Fourth we have is occipital bone, and fifth we have is sphenoid bone, and sixth we have is ethmoid bone. Now let's talk about these one by one. First, frontal bone. It is located at the forehead, as you can see here in the diagram. It contributes to the upper eye sockets and frontal part of cranial cavity. Second bone is cranial bone is parietal bone. They are paired bones. They are located on each side of skull from the superior and lateral walls of cranium. Third cranial bone is temporal bone. They are also paired bone. That means there will be two temporal bone in every skull. They are located below the parietal bone on each side. They houses the structures of inner ear and form part of the jaw joint. Fourth bone is occipital bone. It found at the back and base of skull. It contains the foramen magnum, that is a large opening for spinal cord. Next cranial bone we have is sphenoid bone. It is a butterfly shaped bone at the base of skull. It connects several cranial bones and houses the pituitary gland. Sixth cranial bone is ethmoid bone. It is unpaired bone. It is situated between the eyes and it forms part of nasal cavity and medial wall of the orbit. Now we will talk about facial bones. In facial bones form the face shape and allow for functions like chewing, breathing, and expression. It includes nasal bone, maxilla, zygomatic bones, lacrimal bone, palatine bones, inferior nasal conchae, vomer, and mandible. Now let's talk about these facial bones one by one. First facial bone we have is nasal bone. They are paired bone, that means there will be two nasal bones in every skull. They are small rectangular bones forming the bridge of the nose. Second we have is maxilla, as you can see here in diagram. The green color bone holding the upper teeth is the maxilla. It is also paired bone, that means there will be two maxilla in every skull. They hold the upper teeth and contribute to the orbit and hard palate. Next facial bone we have is zygomatic bone. As you can see in diagram, the cheek area bone, the orange color bone is zygomatic bone. They are also paired bone, that means there will be two zygomatic bones in every skull. They are also known as cheek bones because they are present at cheek area. They articulate with the temporal bone to form the zygomatic arch. Next bone we have is lacrimal bone. They are also paired bone and they are present in inner corner of the orbit. They contain lacrimal sac that is part of tear drainage system. Next facial bone we have is palatine bone, that are also paired bones. They are located at the back of nasal cavity. They help form the hard palate and part of nasal cavity. Next facial bone we have is inferior nasal conchae. They are also the paired bone, that means there will be two inferior nasal conchae in every skull. They are curved bone within the nasal cavity. They help filter and humidify inhaled air. Next bone we have is vomer, that forms part of nasal septum. It is unpaired bone and it separates the right and left nasal passages. Next bone we have is mandible, that is also the unpaired bone of facial skeleton. They are only movable skull bones. They form the lower jaw and holds the lower teeth. Now let's talk about functions of skull bone. First function is protection, as the skull bone protects as a shield and brain sense organ. Second function is support, as they form the scaffold of the face. Third function is movement, as they facilitate jaw motion through mandible. Fourth function is sensory input, as they surround structures for vision, smell, taste, and hearing. Now let's talk about conclusion of this lecture video. The skull is an architectural masterpiece of bone, balancing strength and precision. Every ridge, cavity, and suture has a role, whether it is defending the brain or composing a smile. Understanding the bones of skull not only helps its anatomical study, but is vital in medicine, dentistry, and forensic sciences. And this was all about bones of skull. Hopefully you liked the video. If you do, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you for watching.